Hiroshi Tanahashi recently announced his upcoming retirement. January 4th, 2026 will be the last match of Hiroshi Tanahashi. I know what the rundown says, guys. I did not skip it. We are taking this in a direction. I'm getting warmed up. So Hiroshi Tanahashi is going to lay it down January 4th, 2026. And when I think about Hiroshi Tanahashi, I flat out think of one of the most gifted, special, awesome professional wrestlers I've ever seen in my life. I was fortunate enough to meet Hiroshi Tanahashi in 2018. And when I talked to him, I was just like, thank you so much for basically all your hard work in saving this promotion to allow everything that I had watched up from that point, to continue to exist, because this promotion, as people say, was on death's door. This was during a time I wasn't actively watching wrestling at all. And I was hearing about Hiroshi Tanahashi and, checked him out. Tanahashi's 6 foot, 6'1". I got a picture with him. But when I hear it's the end of the Ace, right? It makes me so sad. And it makes me think this guy has been beat up, broken down, and kind of wrestled as the broken down guy, and would work all of us into, us thinking that he was more hurt than he was a lot of times. And then he eventually started showing his age. He started showing that, he was, struggling physically. And I just always believed in him, his ability to pull out classics with, and tell stories and draw emotion. This guy is he's one of the best old man wrestlers I've ever seen. He's one of the best prime wrestlers I've ever seen. And he's responsible for so much when you think about it. His resume is filthy. All his Wrestler of the Year awards, matches of the year, everything like that. All that stuff's there. You can look it up. You can check his Cage Match page. It's fucking filthy. I'm not here to talk about that necessarily right now. I'm here to talk about how Hiroshi Tanahashi, how I started watching him after a time where he was number one, but I immediately understood why. He was the guy to pull this thing out of Inokiism. He was the guy that people were jumping promotions to come face, or they were doing interpromotional stuff, and you're gonna work with Tanahashi. He's the direct line from Keiji Muto, and he's the tradition. I look at him as just a savior of a company, and somebody that is going to go out in a way that I think there's not going to be a dry in the building, including his, because he loves to cry, and he's going to make us all cry. And he's so beloved. And I remember his challenge for the title to Okada in 2018. I believe this was at Wrestling Dontaku, I believe. And it was Okada's last defense before he fought Kenny Omega at Dominion. I knew Tanahashi didn't have a shot in hell to win. We all knew that. But when he comes out there to defend his defense record, essentially, I think Okada was trying to get to 11. When I see that, it was just this old man full of pride and knowing that he was going to give us his best, and they had a fucking classic. And he lost with one Rainmaker, and it was just you could see the sands of time passing with a lot of the Okada-Tanahashi rivalry, which I kind of have compared to Federer and Nadal. It's this guy Roger Federer. Yeah, Federer and Nadal. It's this guy that's just completely awesome and, the number one guy. And then this young person just drops out of nowhere and starts whooping their ass. And they have just a classic series. I watched all the matches. I've done extensive podcasts about them. And I think what Tanahashi was able to do, looking at Okada and realizing I could act like Keiji Muto and not, put anybody over. I could do all the things that all the wrestlers before me did. I could be like a Noki and not let anybody actually beat me clean. But he went out there and he was like, you know what? let's make some fucking yen. Like, and he just basically like took this guy and shepherded him and allowed Okada to create his main event template inside of Tanahashi's. And Tanahashi just he would have been awesome anywhere in any era. If he had grown up in Des Moines, Iowa and decided to be a pro wrestler in the same body he is, Japanese man, his family lived over there, they spoke all Japanese, he wouldn't have needed to speak English to get over in America. This guy, like I love Hiroshi Tanahashi. Like he's like when I think about, you know, the ace, it'll always be him. And he was there before Okada, he was there during Okada, and he was there after Okada. And he's gonna lay it down, and it's gonna be one of the biggest things I think New Japan has, you know, to at their disposal to move tickets to a dome show. This I'm a little shocked they're going to it this early. He must be like ready to lay it down, kind of. But there's a lot of things I think that will be exciting for him coming up. New Japan does retirements really well as compared to, you know, I'm going to talk about Bryan Danielson later, and I got a feeling that Tanahashi is going to be a little bit more fulfilling than his. And then, you know, you think about Cena, he's laying it down kind of at the same time, and there are like a lot of, you know, emotions that go along with like losing those three, you know, wrestlers. I wish we could see a Cena and Tanahashi match. I know we would have to like sell our souls to get it. And I don't know if I would be comfortable with that, but Nith Mang says, who do I think is his final opponent? Man, it would have been so easy to say Okada. Like maybe you could bring Okada back, but I feel like Okada and him have beaten each other enough. They've done the final match thing. I think you got to, like, I know people are down on him, but you could do nah. His I think Tetsuya Naito should be his final opponent. And if you look at it, Naito is like already the wheels are coming off of him as well. And I know Naito also got Keiji Muto, and him and Tanahashi have had a great rivalry. Anytime they get in there, they should run it. My other choice would have been Shota Umino. Double retirement match, him and Naito. No, don't do that. But he's gonna do some cool things. It's looking like he's gonna tag this year at the Dome with Kenny against the Young Bucks. That's an awesome match. You would think he's going to be able to get in there and come to America one last time. Like I'm sure Tony Khan would love to do something nice for him in AEW. This guy, like everything that he's going to get, he's earned and then some. Not only did he save New Japan, he's now the president. And he's, you know, a really smart, you know, guy, like as far as like with, you know, knowing like what it takes for a pro wrestler to succeed. Like this guy's so freaking great. Like I can't believe like the you know, it's the end for him. And I saw that announcement today, and it hit me like, damn, like I traveled around the world to watch this guy. I saw him in Madison Square Garden. I saw him in New Orleans. I saw him in a couple of different places, and I was just fortunate to start watching, you know, New Japan Pro Wrestling when I did, to see this 1 in 100 generational talent. And if you've never really watched Hiroshi Tanahashi, or if you're someone that listens to the show, we don't talk about New Japan as often anymore. But at one time, we did a lot. And a lot of that is owed to the work of Hiroshi Tanahashi. He's flat out one of the greatest professional wrestlers of all time. Perfect hair, perfect smile. I got a picture with Tanahashi. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's right here. You know, and this was a little bit before the pandemic started. And I yelled out something in Japanese that my boy Zach Porter told me to get his attention. And I had his CD with his high energy theme song, and he signed it for me. So, you know, there are few wrestlers that can make you feel like, you know, a little kid, even, you know, as an adult or a grown person. But I think you're going to start seeing just the the outpouring of love and appreciation for Hiroshi Tanahashi that isn't around. He's the last of a dying breed. They're gonna have, there are guys that have spent major parts of their career, Tetsuya Naito, trying to be him. There wasn't it Shota Umino trying to be Tanahashi. Like, this guy's great. They were trying to beat this guy while this guy was an active wrestler. Like, like they didn't even wait for him to retire. We're just gonna start ripping him off now. And it really made that 1 in 100 thing hit a little harder when you realize there was no 2 of 100, 3 of 1. No, once in 100 years. It's the ace. It's Tanahashi. Like, and he was always my guy. Like, between him and Okada, I always loved Tanahashi. Like, and I'm gonna be very sad when he goes, but I'm gonna enjoy what he has left to give us.